Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. How do you recognize a person as being irresponsible or irrational? Well, irrational, no, not using reason. That means not thinking. And irresponsible, meaning not taking responsibility or not thinking ahead of the consequences of your actions. That means, if I do this, it's gonna end up like that, which is not going to be okay. So it's okay, I'm going to do it nevertheless. You're irresponsible because you're not going to take responsibility of whatever's going to come back to you. So this is a little explanation that we all know. Why did I start with this? It's because we have this weasel senator from the United States of America called Lindsey Graham. And he is a senator, one of the 100 in the United States Senate from South Carolina. I think he was voted in office about by a few million people, 2 or 4 or something, calculating by his percentage, by the number of the people who were eligible to vote, how many showed up. I don't know, it's between 2 or 4 million people. But he was elected. He is a proud U.S. senator. Well, the problem is this guy is either I don't know how to put it. I don't want to put it straight because I'm not sure. You know what I mean? We have community guidelines here that we have to, auto-censor in order to not to tell the exact words. So we have to find, a guy who's really inciting to certain kind of illegal actions. Whew, that was hard. Which is, if you remember, on 2 occasions, this guy right here, he said that the United States or someone should take Putin out, meaning the Russians or someone, doesn't matter who, should assassinate an elected official, which is Vladimir Putin. However you want to look at him, good or bad, he was elected by his people. That's one thing. So this guy from another country, elected as well by his people, says that that person should be taken, take him out. He said it on 2 occasions, and he was proud of himself. And people still are okay with that. Imagine if someone else would say, well, this guy should be taken out, or that guy should be taken out. How would you look at it? The same way. Irresponsible, correct? Irrational. That's one thing. Now this guy, he's a tough guy. He's a very tough guy. But I'm pretty sure if you find him alone in a corridor in the dark, and you tell him, hey, I have to do something to you, talk to you a little bit, he's going to be running because he can't even stand a face-to-face conversation. I'm not implying anything else, but he's a passe. All right, so he wants now, after the incident of the U.S. military drone surveillance, a drone in the Black Sea next to the Crimean coast, he wants, because the Russians did something bad, evil to the drone that was just minding its own business, flying, that's a very nice day today, woo, Black Sea. Yeah, that's exactly what it was doing. The Russians did something to it, and it just, crashed. Aww. Now, obviously, the Russians are the bad dudes because somehow the Russians did something to a drone that was supposed to be in the international airspace and doing, I don't know, it was unarmed, they say, but when they ask, is it unarmed, the US says, we're not going to answer that question. Anyway, not going to go into that. The thing is, the drone, American drone, was, 7,000 miles away from its territory, next to the Russian territories. Russia is at war with and then it was shut down, whatever happened, rammed into it, which I don't believe that story, because otherwise I made a video on that. It's impossible to ram down and you still fly with a fighter jet. No. Anyway, that drone, the fact is, fell like that. So now Lindsey, as I knew, and others say we should do this to the Russians. This is where irrational idea comes, an irresponsible idea. They say we, the Americans, not Lindsey. No, Lindsey stays in a armchair with a ladder on it, with a cigar, with some orange juice. It's not drinking. It's not orange juice, and watching some porn or something, and he's saying, hey, we should use the F-16 to down Russian jets because we can, and that's it. Yeah, baby doll, show me that one. That's what this guy is, or maybe with a mouse and his hand in his ass, actually. I was about to say he's doing something else, but he doesn't have that, or probably he's doing something. All right, so what can I say? Some stupid things. No, that's how I see this guy. That's how I envision this guy. And then he's irrational, thinking that the Russians would just take it like he would, watching those, what I said, sites that he's probably watching and doing that Anyway, so that's probably what he thinks. The Russians are just going to bend over and take it deep like this Posey. Or maybe the Russians will not do that, obviously. So what do you think will happen if, let's be responsible and rational, let's say the F-16 somehow will hit fighter jets of the Russian Federation, which somehow only they will be shot. They will not be able to shot the F-16 because we know the F-16 is the best. And the Russians have only garbage, heavy, rusty shit. Therefore, if they would try to dogfight our perfect planes, there will be no match. Like you have on, let's say, what was that, 262 Messerschmitt, the first fighter jet the Germans did. I think it was 262 ME Messerschmitt in the Second World War. At the end of it, would fight a biplane, or will fight, I don't know, a American or Spitfire. Then that guy was flying with 800 kilometers an hour, and the other ones were flying with 600. So no match. That's how it would be our F-16s against, I don't know, Sukhoi 35 or whatever they have now right now. So let's see what these wizards are saying, because it's so unbelievable. Oh, open that mouth. You got a pretty mouth. Remember that movie? What was that? Oh my God, the 1970s, 80s with what's the guy's name? Let me. Burt Reynolds. You sure got a pretty mouth. I think you got a pretty mouth, man. Lindsey Graham said the U.S. should shoot down Russian fighter jets in response to Russia downing a U.S. drone. Yeah. Good. Let's do it. But can you do that? Can you down the Russian fighter jets? Oh, yes, we can. Credence, Ravens, Residence, Revidence, something like this was the movie with Burt Reynolds. I watched only parts of it because I was made to watch them. I never watched them. That particular, sure got a pretty mouth. All right. Senator Lindsey Graham said that Russia should be held accountable for downing a U.S. military drone. Oh, now they say it's a military drone now, huh? Graham said on Fox News that Russian planes, he didn't see Tucker, I guarantee you that, on Fox News, that Russian planes should be shot if they approach U.S. military assets. No, I don't think the Russian military will approach you. I think you approach them. That drone was not in the Gulf of Mexico, okay? Or the California, Baja California. No, that was in the Black Sea. Just look over the map. Weasel, pretty mouth guy. That's how I'm going to call this guy from now on. He has a pretty mouth. Okay, squeak like a pig. Last year, he called for a Brutus in Russia to assassinate Vladimir Putin, Julius Caesar style. There you have it. This is a senator. Now let me tell you this, and probably you should agree with that. In a civilized, that we pretend we are the most civilized society on this planet, the highest civilization this planet ever seen, which could be true. I think it is, but we're always going to have a rubble. The masses. The Romans had it, the Greeks had it, all the empires before us had rubble, and the rubble is the majority. And this guy somehow gets the rubble to, I don't know, he's a senator. He got voted in, let's put it nicely. This guy should be just tarred and feathered and kicked out of town for even not saying it as he said, implying something like this. But hey, that tells the level of our civilization and our tolerance. Oh no, we have to be tough with the dictators. Well, again, why don't we try to look in the mirror from time to time before we talk, to be, I don't know, responsible, But anyway, this guy just, this is the pretty mouth guy, is just gonna come and tell this kind of stories. So South Carolina, Senator Graham, Lindsey, big beautiful mouth, said that Russia should be held accountable for the destruction of US military drones. That was by its territory in a war zone by Crimean Peninsula with its transponder transmitter off. What would you expect? And the Russians said every time the Ukrainians, with the help of not you, you're, you know what I mean, Posey, with the help of its masters, attacked the Crimean Peninsula with drones. Every time this kind of drones, reconnaissance drones, were present. So for them it was a direct attack, whatever. And what are you going to do about it? Hit one of their jets and see what's going to happen. And I'm quoting, if you ever get near another US asset flying in international waters in the Black Sea by Crimean Peninsula, your airplane will be shot down, he said, addressing the Kremlin's leaders on Fox News. All right, well, good for you. And it says here, this is not the first time when Graham proposed the U.S. to ramp up hostilities against the Kremlin. Last year, he called on Russians to kill Vladimir Putin to help end the Ukrainian war. And I'm quoting, is there a Brutus in Russia? Is there a more successful Colonel Stauffenberg in the Russian military? Yeah, probably this is the guy that tried to assassinate Hitler in their wolf lair in Poland. Remember that one? Yeah, they made videos with Tom Cruise, maybe like that. Rings a bell when I say Tom Cruise, that colonel with an eye patch. Yeah, that's the guy. But he probably watched that movie. But anyway, Graham tweeted on March 4, I'm sure, after he got off his specific sites I mentioned. And he says, to the Chinese, I'm quoting, if you jump on the Putin train now, you're dumber than dirt. This is a senator. It would be like buying a ticket on the Titanic after you saw the movie, he said again. Well, I don't know about that. The Chinese are already on the Russian boat, and it's not the Titanic. I think the Titanic is here, unfortunately. Because you see the opposition growing over there, that means the boat is tipping that way. But this guy sees whatever he wants to see, and is going to give you this kind of statements. Now, I understand if this would be, let's say, a war and direct war between Russia and the United States, direct, hot war. Yeah, but it's not. It's not. That's a war between two other countries that you decided to intervene. And you intervened in 2013 and before that. So, go and try to wash your hands. They would not get the blood off them. So, anyway, you don't expect pretty mouth to... The thing is, imagine this guy would be the president of the United States of America. Have you heard Putin saying something like this? Now, if this guy, let's say, would have the power, which he would not, the president of the United States of America, they don't have that power, and they would be ruled by other people around them. Anyway, I saw how the bad guy, the rude guy, Trump, barked orders to his departments, and nobody did anything. Why? Not because they had morality, because that tells you who rules the White House, actually. The same. If the president is a sitting duck in the White House, those guys around him that are protecting him, those do not answer to his orders. Hey, he might say, go get the fuck out or something like that. But those guys with those things in their ear, the orders do not come from Trump, come from an unknown person to Trump. And you don't know that unknown, which is another unknown with an unknown and with a known. And if that goes like this, the guy here receives the order, he's gonna fulfill it, complete the task. He's not going to ask, are you sure? Well, prove that to me. That's an order, that's his job. He's a machine. He's like a pistol. If you push you squeeze the trigger, it's gonna release the bullet. Okay, that's it. That's what those guys are. So whoever decides to push that, the other side will be. So that's with the president, if you really want to know. And as an example for you, just look at one incident, and that is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Yeah, the one that was elected 4 times in the U.S. As a president. And then he was in Colorado Springs, I think he was, with his mistress, lover, and he was 1,000 years old as well, but he was Anyway, so he was over there and he had a, I don't know, a little minor stroke that killed him. Well, some people say there was a stroke induced by something else. Anyway, because he would not go. He would just not go. I don't know if that's true or not, but history teaches us that, the times will be different, the context will be different, or the environment will be different, the people will be different, but we react in the same way. If you look in the history, you see kings and they were surrounded by guards. Well, if you know who those guards were and how they were paid, that was all. Pay. If someone else paid more, those guards would slay this guy. If this guy would pay them more, they would be his guards. That's how it is. So here in secret services or protective services, how you want to call them, in the White House, are no different. Why? They are, you can say, well, they're patriots. They are patriots. That's why if they receive the order, they're not going to discuss the order. They're going to implement it. And they say, well, this is a Russian asset right here. He needs to be abducted and talked to. Then they will follow. They don't say, hey, excuse me, we can't do this because I don't think that runs against my, no. Well, just deal with a simple police officer and talk to him and see how you can make him do something else. You're not. If he wants, he can arrest you right there on the spot. However, if you're, okay, I think this, you violated this, you go in. Or, I know, he receives an order, he's going to do it. That's his job. If he doesn't do that, he's going to get in trouble. Does he want to get in trouble? He's in a good position. He's at the White House, right? Security service over there. He's not going to, he's got family as well. And he was vetted before he got over there, so he is... Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.